I wrote this movie. This is the director. How did I write this movie?
Good. How did I direct this movie?
Varun Menon is a photographer, poet, and director from Sharjah. As a member of Cochin's independent multimedia collective juggernaut Kitchen Sink Drama, his latest film, To Be a Fly on Your Mango, was screened at an exclusive event on the second floor of Cafe Papaya. The invite-only screening was attended by the likes of Gagan Dev, Gayatri Mohan, Rohan Muralidharan, Cyril Dennis Abraham, and Saurav Suresh, to name but a few soon-to-be household names. An interview, a post-screening discussion, as well as general lollygagging were observed after the end of the screening. Having been in Cochin for all of 6 hours, some might wonder at the reason for Varun Menon's interview being a part of the Kochi Documentation Project. To this, I must assert the fact that by virtue of being a part of and working with Kitchen Sink Drama, he is undoubtedly a contributing factor to Cochin's independent filmmaking scene, and therefore its cultural zeitgeist at the time of recording. This disregard for geography is an important aspect of what shapes cultures in 2022. The internet fills in the gaps created by continents and nations.
Varun Menon, how are you feeling about this? How are you feeling about this interview?
Good man. This is good.
Are you nervous?
If Ren is out of frame, it's not true. Ren is actually like 3 centimeters away from here.
Can you introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
I'm Varun Menon. I'm a filmmaker. I've been a filmmaker for a couple of years now. 2017. Around 5 years. Now I've been making short films.
How many movies have you made in that time?
I made seven short films and multiple other projects.
And what got you started into making short films?
I was always into films. I believe that there was not one phase in life where I didn't think that I was going to be a filmmaker. Like, I've always wanted to do something with films, whether be an actor or a filmmaker. I wanted to be an actor at one point. But yeah, I felt like at some point I would just have to come to terms with the fact that okay, filmmaking is what I want to do.
How did you meet the individuals at Kitchen Sink Drama?
Oh, that's crazy. I think on Twitter we all just kept talking. And I remember I used to pretend to know Malayalam and I used to like tweet in Malayalam and shit. Can I swear? I used to pretend to be a Malayali on Twitter. I stay in the United Arab Emirates. I stay in Sharjah. So I didn't know Malayalam. I don't know Malayalam too well. But I met these guys there. We used to tweet. We were mutuals. I think I met Ren and Cyril first. And then I met the rest of them. And then we started interacting and then we got close. And then now I'm in Kochi for like a day to screen To Be a Fly on Your Mango.
And what is Kitchen Sink Drama? And what does it mean to you?
I feel like initially, to me, when they pitched the idea, when they were talking about Kitchen Sink Drama, not pitched the idea, but like when the idea was in its genesis, they said that it wanted it to be like Brockhampton or be like Odd Future, and I was like, I don't think it turned out to be that way. I feel like, what is it? Kitchen Sink Drama. But I feel like it is in some sense a movement of its own, a movement in India, or at the very least in Kochi. I feel like independent filmmakers who genuinely want to do something with their art have a place here. Not only filmmakers, anyone, anything. I was really fascinated by Kitchen Sink Drama when I heard of it initially, and I'm still fascinated by how it has been moving.
From the perspective of somebody who's been in Cochin for 12 hours now?
3, 4, 5, 6.
6 hours in Cochin, and also being a part of Cochin's cultural movement in independent filmmaking. What do you think is next for Cochin's culture, and what do you want to see changing?
I don't think I know enough to make that guess. I don't think I know enough to talk about it. Like the film I made, To Be a Fly on Your Mango, not to toot my own horn, but it's sort of like based in the place I see. It's a very personal film in some sense, in some regard, and I don't think it would be genuine if I spoke about how I think the culture should change, or like I don't know enough about the culture, so let alone like knowing what should change about it, right?
How did you get started making films? Like, I understand you've always wanted to make films, but what is that first step that you took towards making films? Do you have any friends that helped you out? And what is that first film process like?
Crazy. Sharad's here. I was with a couple of friends of mine, Ankit and Sharad, and who else? Lakshit. And we were talking about films that we wanted to make and like things that we wanted to do. And I was like, dude, I want to make a film. And then these guys are like really supportive. And when you're 15, you're like, oh man, we'll do it. We'll change the world. And then we went ahead and we took the initiative. we made the film. It's so much harder than it seems. It's so much harder than it seems. But I feel like because of my first film, which was Roach, and other veterans, and it's not a good film by any means, by any stretch of the word. It was still important for me to become whatever I am today, whatever little I am today, or wherever I've reached today, even if it's not much. I feel like that was important. And yeah.
What's something that you would like to tell to the Varun that was just about to make his first film? What advice would you want to give him, and any words of encouragement or something you wish you had known at the time?
It's not going to be easy. I've always kind of been, I was okay with taking risks. I never evaded taking risks. I never took the safe way. Always to a fault, like annoyingly to a fault. But that's not an issue. But I would say that you need to be nicer to people. You need to thank people, show more gratitude, and to a younger me, I would say that it is going to be really, really, really hard. But once you get past the hard stage, it's only going to get harder, and then I don't think it gets much easier. But that's the best part, I think.
And similarly, for somebody who's just like out of school, fresh out of school, who wants to get started, do something creative, whatever it is, whatever endeavor that is, what advice do you have for them? What's the first thing that you'd recommend they did?
I mean, there is no. I think one thing I've learned making films is that there is no clear-cut way. There are no hard and fast rules. And if you're going to do something, you should. It's cliche, and it's something people have always said. If you're going to do something, you should probably go do it. No one else is going to do it for you. If you have a task in mind, only you are going to have to do every single aspect of it. No one else will come do anything for you. And there are a lot of quotes that I've sort of used as my philosophy, but I guess one I've always kind of thought of is too much of anything is not good. And yeah, so if you're getting out of school, and I've just got out of school as well, I would tell you what I would tell myself, and that is to trust your gut and be ready for whatever hardships are to come.
You're not just a filmmaker, you're also a photographer. You write poetry. You illustrate. So before we get into your photography and your poetry, one thing I want to ask is do you see a common strand between all the art that you do in terms of like something that ties you in a multimedia way?
Yeah, I feel like everything I do sort of links to another. I mean, saying that I write poetry is kind of like a stretch, but sure.
All poets say this.
Yeah, no. I mean, look, I'm not published any of my poetry, right? But okay, see, for namesake, let's say I read a poem and I really like this poem. I will dissect this poem. I will look at the structure of this poem and what it means, and I will try to convey this in another art form. And I think what you understand after doing that is that a poem can only be a poem. A good poem can only be a poem. It cannot be a photo. It cannot be a song. It cannot be a film. The same way a good film can't be anything else. And I find that to be my common link. My common link is that there is no common link.
In terms of photography, can you tell us a little bit about how you started, what gear you use, whether that gear is important, like a picture pun intended, of what it's like to be a photographer in Sharjah, to be a foreigner in a land and take photos, and also how you got started in that medium?
Oh man, I don't think gear is important. I think gears, if your excuse is that you don't have enough gear, then you should find another excuse. I started off with a phone, and then I moved on to I'm talking no, see, look, it doesn't matter. Whatever gear you have is not going to worsen how good the photo is without the gear. or photos only as good as its photographer. And then of course there is a law of diminishing returns wherein you pay more for less, and that's a weird tangent, but I started off at a very young age. I think I was 11 years old with like actual photography, and I started publishing. I think what really drew me to photography was and I think to all my other artists, that I find a lot of joy in reading a city. I find a lot of joy in reading people, and I find a lot of joy in reading. I'm trying to put this to words. Reading cultures. I find it poetic, and I find it very interesting, and I think I'm interested in like really, really tiny things that other people wouldn't particularly find interesting. That is what I started to photograph, and that is what I photograph now. So if it's maybe the way the light hits the curb, or the color orange I really like when I look at a lamp, I will photograph that because I think it's important to me, and it helps me remember a place better, and I really love remembering places. So yeah, I feel like where I was brought up, Sharjah, is a place that is so filled with nooks and crannies and nuances, and yeah.
Last couple questions. So, creating to be a fly on your mango. What was the? Huh? That's the one.
No, you did.
I did it. Oh, okay. To be a mango on your fly. Creating to be a mango on your fly. What was the part of the process that you enjoyed most, and what was the part of the process that you enjoyed least?
Oh. Well, okay, fine. Look, the part of the process I enjoyed most was probably shooting it, because shooting it was so much fun. It was such heat. It was 52 degrees when we shot the film in Sharjah, in Abu Shakara. It was that hot, and we shot day and night for 2 days straight. I think that was both simultaneously the best and the worst part. For me, the best part was that I think Shrutan's writing gave me so much freedom to actually shoot the film the way I wanted it to, make the film look the way I wanted it to, make the actors act the way I wanted them to, make the place sound the way I wanted it to, because Abu Shakara sounds very specific. There is a lot of gravel. It sounds dusty. No one really speaks in Abu Shakara. It's all just quiet shuffles and whispers. That interested me, and that was my favorite part. I feel like if Shrutan's script wasn't there, then I would not have been able to do any of that on my own. The worst aspect of it was probably also that it was terrible heat, and like it was really uncomfortable at points. But there was no point in the film, whereas in other films I've had genuinely distressing moments, but in this film at no point was I annoyed or distressed to a point where it was unhealthy. And I don't know why that is. I feel like it's a miracle of sorts. This feels surreal to me. The fact that I'm in Kochi and just screened the film, this still feels surreal to me. And like, yeah, I feel like for me, I have this inkling that the worst is yet to come, because I don't think I've seen anything really that bad, or had gone through anything really that bad while filming this film. So yeah, all good thoughts, man. All positivity.
At what point in your life are you in terms of what you're doing, and where do you see yourself going in the next 1 year, in the next 2 years, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? What do you want to be doing?
At what point I am in my life right now, I genuinely feel like I'm nowhere. I feel like humility is something I lack. I very easily have my ego stroked, and criticism I sort of thrive in. I feel like I'm nowhere right now. I feel like I've not even started, not even touched where I'm supposed to begin. And humility is a virtue I wish to learn and grow into. But what I want to do, where I see myself, I don't see myself anywhere. I hate expecting. But what I want to do is I want to do everything, man. I feel like I really want to do so much right now. Like I feel like over the past year like this I just felt like doing everything. I feel like studying philosophy. I feel like working on film. I feel like making music. I feel like writing. I feel like sketching, drawing, designing. So many things I want to do, and I cannot see myself doing any one thing in the next 5 years, 10 years. I feel like, see, wherever I end up. I don't think I'll make much money in the conventional sense of things, and that might be disappointing to some, but I'm okay with it. I'm happy with where I am, and I hope I'll be happy with where I will be.
That's it, Varun Menon. Thank you for doing this interview. Any last words you want to tell the people watching, or will be watching, or who were watching?
I mean, show gratitude, man. Show love to the people you have around you. Give flowers to people while they're still here, and yeah, I'm happy to have, dude. Like so many people in the screening, I genuinely looked up to. Like I didn't say it, but then in the interview, dude, Gagan's work. Like when I saw Alice, and I was like, bro, I swear, I really want to meet this director. And then I actually saw this dude. I was like, oh man. And then even your work, I don't know, you're just sitting there smiling. Okay, bro, I remember, dude, our entire school's like crazy shit behind yours. Even Gayatri's work for that matter. Rohan, Renj, Rutan, or Saurav, Mo, man, these people are people I genuinely look up to. And they have changed the way of thinking. They changed my perspective on a very on a very real note, man. Like I would not be where I am without these people, at least subconsciously. And yeah, man, give love, give flowers to people who deserve it while they're still here.
Thank you.